the Whistler Film Festival, and you might be wondering why the Whistler Film Festival is so involved in this. I'll tell you a little bit more about how we are involved and what amazing things you have to look forward to with the program. But I'd like to start with acknowledging that the Whistler Film Festival Society and the activities of the society take place on the traditional unceded territories of the Squamish Nation and the Lil'wat Nation. And we honor their language, their culture, and their traditions. And it is a very big part of how we approach all of our programming. We are an organization that is well known for the film festival, of course. It takes place every year in December. And this year we will be holding the Whistler Film Festival from November 30th until December 3rd. What we also do is present an industry conference, which really ties the business and the creative together to make magic happen in the mountains. And that's a really important part for the business and the networking. So we've got the filmmakers who are presenting their works. We've got the people who are developing and greenlighting projects. And then another aspect we have is the talent labs. We currently run 10 talent programs through the Whistler Film Festival that include an Indigenous Filmmaker Fellowship, a Screenwriters Lab, Producers Lab, many more. But our expertise in training and professional development for the industry is all very much linked to the other components of the festival. So we are getting people into the training programs at a level where you're developing the project, be it the script or the pitch or the creative. And we are putting people together with key decision makers that will provide feedback and help develop the project so that when you come to the content summit, the industry part, you have a really strong project to pitch to take it to the next level. And then what we're starting to see and what we really hope is that when a project gets made, it comes back to us at the Whistler Film Festival. So we have a very holistic view of that. We were really thrilled to be partnering with Creative Saskatchewan on this initiative to develop producers in Saskatchewan. And quite frankly, a little secret, we're all sitting in Manitoba right now, so we're kind of neighbors. So we are very excited to be a part of this. I'm going to turn it over to Aaron and Brendan and Shelley to take this to your Q&A and the presentation, and really thank Aaron also for her support for all of this. I encourage you to ask a lot of questions. I encourage you to apply for this program. It is one that will really elevate your project and your own business knowledge to a tremendous degree. It's proven success, and I hope you all apply.
Excellent. Thanks, Angela. And I'm going to turn it over to Brendan, and he will take it from here with some introductions.
I'm going to turn off my video.
Thanks, Shelley, and thank you, Angela. Welcome, everybody. It's great that so many of you have been able to join us today. We're going to cover a number of different things and then also answer your questions. Just a little bit about me first. So I've been working in the film and television industry for about 30 years, primarily as a producer. I produced all kinds of projects, big and small, and I've also worked previously in training, administration, that type of thing. So my goal here is to sort of act as not only the program facilitator, but also to be sort of in a guidance or mentorship kind of role. And if I don't have the answers for your questions, then I can find someone who will. So my primary goal is to support you throughout the program if you're accepted, and to sort of lead the way from start to finish. But I just want to introduce you all to Erin Dean from Creative Saskatchewan, and she'll say a few words about herself.
Thanks, Brendan. I'm Erin Dean. I'm the CEO of Creative Saskatchewan, and I know a lot of people on the call today, but if you're unfamiliar with us, we are the economic development agency for Saskatchewan's creative industries, including film and television. And we are the agency that you would go to for funding for the production of your project, but also development. And we're really excited to be partnering with the Whistler Film Festival to offer this program, which will help accelerate your project, your producing skills. And it's just a really fantastic opportunity. So I echo what Angela said, and I encourage everyone who is eligible and ready to apply to this program, because it is it's just a tremendous opportunity to build your career. So yeah, we're really excited to field your questions today and to find out a little bit more about the program.
Thanks, Erin. So to start, I just kind of wanted to talk about the overall goal of this market accelerator. Essentially, when we were sort of coming up with this, what we really wanted to do was to, not only focus on Saskatchewan, but to give Saskatchewan creators and producers and the projects that are coming out there a real chance to be able to further themselves and also further their projects, with the end result being to attend the Whistler Film Festival and to treat it like a market. It does have a very large market component. A lot of you might be thinking, okay, well, the Whistler Film Festival is a film festival, and we've got projects that are like television or maybe online or what have you. And although we'll get into that a little bit more, the program is open to more than just films. But the market component of Whistler is, it's something that you can, that experience you can take with you, and it's transferable to just about any type of market in whatever type of media you might be working in. So it's not only a great opportunity to be a part of the program and come to Whistler, but it also gives you enough of an overview of like what a market's about and how to treat it. Plus, we do bring in a lot of guests that are working in all types of other media as opposed to just feature films or short films. But in the end, you're going to have something that is going to be further enhanced and moved along that you can take to just about any market. So that's sort of the goal, the overall goal there, including all of the people that you're going to meet, the training that you're going to get, the project development that you're going to receive, a lot of which is very project specific. So I'm just going to sort of share my screen here, and we're going to go over a few things to start, and then I'm going to get into questions and such. So just referring to the Creative Saskatchewan website, this is also on the Whistler website as well. So essentially I'm just going to kind of go over this, and then we're going to get into more detail. So the Market Accelerator is an intensive multi-phase project development program designed to accelerate the careers of up to 6 independent Saskatchewan-based producers while developing their original narrative, factual, and digital projects in film, television, or online formats. So as you can see, we're going to take up to 6 different producers with 6 different projects. We're looking at things, short films, feature films, television series, web series, online projects, you name it. We're open to a lot of different things. Some of you might be thinking, well, is that going to kind of like water down the training? Well, not so much at all. There's going to be sessions that are specific for everybody that all projects are going to be able to take advantage of. And then we're also going to do project specific sessions so that you've got something that kind of gives you a big overview, but also kind of focuses specifically on what it is that you're doing. The course is about 8 months long. We're going to bring in people from Saskatchewan so that you've got people right in your own backyard that you can work with, but we're also going to bring in people from right across the country. So, larger markets such as Toronto or Vancouver, but also specific places where we can find the resources that are key to moving your particular project forward, things that you need. So although a lot of the program is going to be pre-scheduled and the curriculum is predetermined, we're also going to go over things that you need and talk with you, so that if there's something that you need that's specific to making your project better or move it forward, we're going to find that and work with you to get that sort of done. Okay, so moving along here. The program's broken up into different phases. The first phase sort of takes place starting in June of this year and moves until about September. Well, you know what? I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. There is a sort of like a welcome session, an orientation session that we've just today determined that's going to be taking place at the Yorkton Short Film Festival, which is right in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. There's going to be some details to follow there, but the Yorkton Film Festival takes place May the 25th to the 27th. I imagine quite a few of you have probably attended before. It's a great little session right in your backyard. Lots of projects that are shown there, short films, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of great panels and sessions. We highly encourage you to attend. If for some reason you can't attend, if you're accepted into the program, we will set up, we're going to have sort of like a specific private session just for us while we're there. We'll set up, and we can always Zoom you in, but we really encourage you to attend because it's such a great session, great festival, and it's right there, like I said, in Saskatchewan, in Yorkton. There's so many people that attend from right across the country that it's just a great resource. Before I move on, Erin, did you have anything you wanted to add about Yorkton?
Not really, but I just want to echo that, yeah, there's a lot of industry attached to that festival. So whether you're selected for this program or not, that's a great festival to add to your list of events to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. I've attended it many, many times, and I always find there's great takeaway, great people to meet with, etc. It's sort of like a little hidden gem in a lot of ways. So if you take a look in the calendar of events, the key dates, we had the welcome session sort of tentatively planned for June the 5th, but as I said, we're going to move that to a date between May 25th to 27th, happening at the Yorkton Short Film Festival. If you can attend, that's fantastic. If you can't attend, we will set up a Zoom session for people who are accepted into the program so that everybody gets to participate in that orientation. And the idea is to welcome you into the program, but also to sort of talk about the schedule, about time, about your responsibilities, et cetera, and just to sort of drill down a little bit more to kick things off. So from the new program deadline date, which is Monday, April 17th, until that time, we're of course taking our intake of projects. We'll be reviewing everything. We'll be making our decisions in regards to who's going to be coming into the program, and then we're going to be getting everything set up and ready to launch at the Yorkton Short Film Festival. Okay, so back to phase one. So essentially, all of the sessions take place online. You can expect about 10 to 12 workshop sessions during that time, maybe more if they're project specific. And the intention is to sort of set this up so that each session is at once per week at a specific time that stays consistent throughout, so it doesn't change, so you can make the time in your schedule and you know exactly when that is, what time to make available each week, so that there's consistency there. Sessions for that first phase can include everything from sustainability, accessibility, legal considerations such as contracts, incorporating all the different things that you'll need to think about from a legal perspective, financing sources, that's equity, grants, tax credits, provincial sources, government sources, even Arts Council sources, that type of thing. Working with banks, things that you'll need to know just in order to kind of keep the small business component of your project in line. Insurance, of course, so liability, errors and omissions insurance, a lot of different things that a lot of people sometimes forget about how important insurance is and how many questions are actually answered from your insurance agent. So those are always, people sometimes go like, oh my God, insurance, but actually it's really, really valuable information. Some of the most important information that I've actually received over the years hasn't always come from a lawyer or an accountant. It's actually usually come from my insurance broker. It tends to be a lot less expensive than dealing with your lawyer or your accountant. So just something to think about. We're of course going to go over new updates in equipment and technology. A lot of you are working online. A lot of you are doing projects that need to take advantage of like where technology is at these days, you know, applications and such, online programs, et cetera, et cetera. So we're definitely going to be focusing in on some of those. Crew, casting, other members of your development team that you're going to need, directors, you know, writers, et cetera, et cetera. And then project specific sessions. So as we bring in the projects that are going to be covered throughout the program, the projects that you apply with, we're going to do specific project specific sessions and probably in a case study kind of format, right? So we'll be bringing in other media creators who have done things that you're looking to do that can speak to you directly about a project that they've gone through so that you get that type of insight. It's a little more factual and real world than just theoretical. So we really like to use case studies as much as we can. Like I said, phase one basically takes place between June to September. After that, we move into phase two, which is through October, November. Again, it's online. You can expect another, probably about another 4 to 6 sessions during that time. Each session, I should mention, is anywhere between like 75 minutes to 2 hours. So you get a fair amount of information. And there'll, of course, in each session be time to ask questions, et cetera, and then to follow up. We also will be assigning a certain amount of homework after all of these sessions in phase one and in phase two, so that way you've got take home that you can apply directly. I should say that the program, although it's not necessarily like a full-time program, it's a little more than a part-time program, right? It's not something that you can just do sort of off the corner of your desk, although it does allow you to have time to maintain your other projects, your other work. We're not asking you to, to commit full time to this, but we do require you to commit as much as you can, as much time as you can, to get the most benefit from the program. And like I said, we will be following up through homework assignments so that we're staying on top of what you're doing and you're getting the most benefit that you can out of each session and about all the homework that you're taking in. So just be prepared to devote some time if you're thinking of applying, that there will be, it will be fairly intensive throughout. So make sure that you have, when you're thinking of putting in that application, make sure that you have the time to commit over these 8 months. Okay, so in phase two, again, like I said, it's they're more online sessions, and here is where we start to really prepare for the market aspect of the program coming out to Whistler or other markets that you would like to attend. So sessions in this regard are everything from like domestic to international perspectives on your project, who the audience is for it, how you properly promote it, what you've got to be thinking about, not only as you work through production, but how you find that audience for it, right? And more so, how you're going to pitch that when you take it to a project. One of the sessions is going to be specifically about pitching. Each of you will test pitch in a very relaxed sort of environment, but it gets you ready for everything from like a short elevator pitch to a much longer sit down over a cup of coffee or a drink type of pitch, so that you're fully prepared to be able to go to that market, pitch your project in the best possible way, and get the most that you can out of that market, so that you leave with something meaningful and tangible, and that there's follow-up later on with potential buyers or distributors or broadcasters. So we'll be doing sessions on distribution, on broadcast, on online platforms, and then, like I said, all of the marketing and promotion that kind of goes into that as you take your projects to market, and then like a really good, robust session on how to pitch. Okay, so that's a little bit about phase two. Then we come into the actual Whistler Film Festival itself. The dates for the festival this year are November 29th to December 3rd. It's a very lively, dynamic event. There's all kinds of films that are programmed. There's a lot of people that come out to this festival. It's up in the mountains. It's a great location. It's a lot of fun. One of the things that you need to keep in mind, though, is that festival participation is on your dime. It's something that you need to arrange for yourself. We can help you. Festival staff will help you with accommodations, with travel arrangements, with getting from Vancouver up to Whistler itself. But it is something that is the financial responsibility of the participants. As you can well imagine, and I'm sure you've already seen, the program itself is free to apply to, and it's also, there's no tuition fee for this program. Which is an amazing opportunity that's being provided from Creative Saskatchewan. They're really hoping to spark growth in the province of Saskatchewan, and that's why this program is free. If you take a look at the Whistler website, you'll see that many of our many of our programs that we offer in our talent labs have a rather reasonable tuition fee attached to them, but this program is tuition free, and that's all thanks to Creative Saskatchewan. The whole goal being just to get Saskatchewan up to a place where it's ready to take projects to market, and it's a really big benefit that Creative Saskatchewan is offering you. So as I said, Whistler Film Festival takes place November 29th to December 3rd. There's all kinds of panels, sessions, people to meet with. We offer one-on-one business to business meetings so that you can sort of take a look at all of the different buyers, financiers, senior producers, possible project partners that are going to be coming into the festival from all over North America, and you can set up meetings with them in advance. The festival staff actually helps to facilitate that. And it's just a great opportunity to network, to meet people, and as I said, I can't stress this enough, to move your project forward. After the Whistler Film Festival, take a little bit of a breath and get caught up on such a big event. And then we move into the third phase, which is basically an opportunity to sort of debrief with the program staff, myself and such, and sort of talk about your festival experience, where you think things are going. And then we help to kind of like plan potential next steps. So how you take things after you've left Whistler as the program starts to wrap up. And then the very final part is some reporting that needs to be done so we understand better about your experience. We can make the program better through your reporting. So that's kind of the gist of the program itself. Just going to go through a few more things here. The key dates, as we said, the call for applications has now been extended to Monday, April 17th. So you've got time to get that in. The welcome session, as I said, has been moved to Yorkton now, so that's May 25th to the 27th. Phase 1, June to September. Phase 2, October to November. Whistler Film Festival is November 29th to the 3rd, and then everything wraps up on about February 2nd with final deliverables and reporting. I encourage you to go to the website and go through all the benefits of this program. You'll see them all listed there on the Creative Saskatchewan website or on the Whistler Film Festival website. You can read all those out for yourself. Again, like I said, participants are responsible for their own airfare, transportation, et cetera, and accommodations while attending Whistler. Let's just go into some of the specifics about applying to the program. So it's open only to Saskatchewan producers who have a project that they own all the rights to. You should have some combination of production or industry experience in one or more of these areas, like production or business affairs or legal, marketing, distribution. Obviously, being a producer with projects that you've completed under your belt is a huge plus. You must demonstrate ownership of the project that you're applying with. So you must have proper chain of title. As I said earlier, you must commit to attend all of the different phases of the program and the sessions that are offered. We of course want to see you at the Whistler Film Festival to take advantage of that, of the market aspect of things. I mean, that's really the culmination of this program. You have to be over the age of 18, you have to be a resident of Saskatchewan, and you have to be a Canadian citizen. Everyone who applies, we only give feedback to the accepted participants about their projects and how to move them forward. That's just sort of a matter of time and resources. And if you have a project that you're applying with that has more than one producer, what we really stress is that you select the specific producer that's going through the program, and that's the producer that you're coming in with. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 producers, we really just want one producer applying, who's the sort of the project lead, or is going to gain the most from attending the program. So it is a training program in addition to being a program that moves your project forward. So you're of course open to have more than one producer on your project, but we're just looking to train one producer throughout the length of this program. And then of course we're looking to support underserved communities as much as possible. Something to think about when you're putting your application together. Again, I'll just mention there is no application fee, there is no tuition fee. There is financial assistance that you can look for from Creative Saskatchewan. In fact, maybe I'll just let Aaron speak to that just a little bit right now.
Sure. Thanks, Brendan. So Brendan mentioned that, we are covering the tuition, the application fees, all of those pieces, but there is an expense to actually get yourself to Whistler and accommodations, those pieces. So Creative Saskatchewan offers support through our market travel grant. And if you are accepted into this program, you will be accepted into the market travel grant, and you can you can apply, and we'll cover up to 50% of the expenses related to travel, accommodation, and we also cover per diems. So that'll make it a little bit easier to get there and to take some pressure off your pocketbook. But Brendan mentioned it, there's a lot of value to this program. These training programs typically do cost several thousands of dollars. So we're happy to cover that, and we're happy to support you in getting you to Whistler as well.
Thanks, Aaron. And in addition, of course, the Whistler Film Festival provides all the applicants with complimentary registration. So that's something to help also kind of take a little of the edge off of that, of those travel costs. As mentioned earlier, so I'm kind of your producer in residence, your program facilitator, and also Shelley Quaid, who's very much involved in all of our Talent Lab programs, is going to be helping out as well with all kinds of things. Just quickly read through the frequently asked questions, because a lot of those will sort of help to answer some of the questions that you already have. Submitted projects are expected to be in and around the early stages of development. That way you can get the most out of the program that you can. Financing, marketing, distribution plans. We want to sort of take a look at these in a sense as where you, like, not that they have to be 100% accurate, but we're kind of looking at these as where are you at in your producing sort of experience, so we can kind of further hone the program to your needs, right? So your financing distribution plan doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It doesn't have to be the final version. We're more just sort of using it to interpret where you're at, so that we can give you a better program experience in terms of the training that we offer. So while we want to see these done and done to the best of your abilities, they don't have to be the final versions. They don't have to be perfect. This is what you're applying to the program for, is to learn about these. If you want to do an international or an interprovincial co-production, that's totally cool in whatever format. But again, we're only taking in the Saskatchewan-based producers into the program. We don't take any late applications, although we have extended the deadline to April 17th, so we do have a little more time to apply. Additional documents are documents that really are things that are going to be project specific. Don't just submit every old thing that you got. Make sure that you're thinking about it, because we've got a lot of applications to review, and we're looking at things that are very concise and specific to the project that you have, and are going to mean we have a better chance of reviewing what your project is and getting the most out of that. So keep things to, letters of recommendation, etc. If you've had previous development program, like you've been accepted, the project's been accepted into another development program or has received development financing, we want to know about that. We just want to get a good sense of sort of where you're at. Everything goes through our online submission portal. Program mentors. So if you require a specific project, like a project specific mentor, we'll work with you to find who that person is so that you get the most out of that. Moving along, excuse me, you cannot change your project midway through the program. We're basing your selection on the project that you apply with. Some of you might be thinking, well, why would I do that? That does actually come up from time to time in previous programs that I have experience with. And so in this particular case, we want to focus on the project that you apply with, and you can't really change that along the way. We're going to be reviewing everything in conjunction with Creative Saskatchewan, and we'll also probably reach out to other industry experts to sort of get a sense of, who might be best to be in the program. So we're looking at not just, it's not just one person making the decision. There's a few different people involved. Budget size, budget's probably going to change as you go through the program. So if you've got a big budget now, or you've got a small budget now, we're not really worried about that as much as we're worried about or considering what your budget looks like. Again, we're sort of taking into account how well the budget is put together and where you might need some help with doing budgeting in the future. So don't worry too much about the size of your budget. It's probably going to change. Again, we've already stressed this a few times. The program is not open to any producers from outside of Saskatchewan. If you have an animated project, that's totally welcome. We're happy to help you in that regard with animated projects, any type of project really. The Accelerator is an English language program. So right now projects need to be in English. Again, feedback. We're only giving feedback to the participants who are selected to the program. We just don't have the resources to be able to facilitate that for everyone. I already mentioned that we're just taking one producer per project. If you have a director attached, writer attached, that's totally cool. No problem there. And if you've ever been in any other Whistler Talent Lab programs, that's great. We want to have more people come back and keep continuing to take our programs to continue their career advancements. Can you apply to more than one WIF program? Of course you can, absolutely. Now, I'm just going to go through some specific questions that were sent in by you that aren't on the frequently asked questions page. So maybe we can go through some of that. Then we're going to open it up. And if you've got any more questions after this, you're more than welcome to send them off to us, and Aaron and I will attempt to answer them as best we can. Okay, so can I submit a project that I have received pre-development funding for? Yes, absolutely, and we'd love to know what that project is. If you've got a program or a fund that you've already received, just let us know in your application materials. As I said, the materials that you're supplying to the application process, we're looking at those to judge your eligibility and to judge and to pick and make selections for what we want to take in. But we're also looking at those materials to kind of gauge where you're at, so that we can make the training more specific to you and more beneficial to you. But like I said before, try to be as concise with those materials as you can. Keep them very project specific. Can you apply with a screenplay that has gone through several drafts and is closer to production stage? Yes, you can, but keep in mind that the earlier the stages that you're applying with, the more you're going to get out of this program, because it's more likely that you're going to be able to take what you've learned and apply it, and changes are going to kind of come about in an organic sense from that point of view. So if you're thinking of applying with something that's right at the green light stage, you're not necessarily going to get as much out of this program as you would if you apply with something in early stages of development. Your commitment to the program, your time commitment, like I said, we're not going to take you away from full-time studies or full-time job or employment or work on your other projects that you're trying to move forward, but we do want you to make the time and commitment to this program. Obviously, there's going to be times that are going to be busier than others. Coming to the Whistler Film Festival, is a few days, and you need to make the time to come to that. And attend it fully to get the most from the festival. But if you use proper time management, you'll be able to, take advantage of the program as best as you can, and be able to stay on top of the other work that you have. Just keep in mind that we want you to get the most that you can out of this. So that means making the time for it. Like I said earlier, sessions are sort of weekly. They'll be planned and scheduled so that you're with your schedule in mind as well. So there's consistency in that, and that you're able to sort of plan around the program and, just employ proper time management. What else? Like I said earlier, we're open to all kinds of different projects. I'm sure a lot of you have some specific questions about that. Be happy to answer them in the Q&A portion. But we're open to just about anything, and we can find resource people to help you with just about any type of project. That's sort of the goal of this. Can the project be a television series? Yes, absolutely. Can the project be one that's received slate development funding from or slate funding from Creative Saskatchewan? I'll let Aaron answer that one.
Yeah, we're happy to see projects that we've already invested in go through this kind of program. So no restrictions on if you've received development funding from Creative Saskatchewan for this project.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. And then, you know, what's the ideal amount of experience? Well, we definitely want you to have had a few projects under your belt. It'd be great, like I said earlier, if you've got, you know, a mix of experience, maybe, you know, you've done business affairs or you've done marketing or what have you. But ideally, you know, you produced a few different projects. They don't necessarily have to be projects in the same format or genre that you're applying to the program with. So maybe you produced a few short films, but now you're thinking of applying with a feature film. That's totally fine. But we just want to know that you're not completely green, but also at the same time that you're not too experienced, so that you get as much as you possibly can out of the program. Okay, I'm just going to take a look now at the chat room here. Obviously, we've got quite a few questions coming in, and you're encouraged to answer them, and we'll try to answer them as best we can. Budget top sheet format. Go online to the Telefilm website, download their budget top sheet. I believe they've just updated it. So that's the preferred format. If you want to use, you know, something like a you know, financial software or budgeting software, that's fine too. I've seen all kinds of different budget formats, so I can interpret just about anything. So that's not, we don't really have an issue there. Just as long as it's concise, legible, and again, we're taking as much as we can from that to sort of see where you're at. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Part of that budgeting process is going to come from the program. What else here? Letter of recommendations are highly encouraged. It just sort of gives you a bit of a leg up and a bit of insight in those letters of recommendations. It helps us to learn a little bit more about you. So it's a great idea if you can send one of those in. All the deliverables and all of the homework is mandatory that you do. Again, that just comes back to making the proper time. If you don't think that you can make the time for this program, then, you know, I encourage you to really strongly think about or consider applying, because we want, again, we just want you to get the most that you can out of this. And so making the time for it is going to be essential. Let's see.
Can you
here.
discuss chain of title, Brendan, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So chain of title, and of course the program will go into this as well, but chain of title is essentially documenting who owns the rights to a project. So it can be something as simple as just a point form explanation, you know, typically starts with, I came up with this project on my own. It's a wholly original project, or I was pitched by a director or a writer, and then I took the project into my company or as myself as an individual producer. That's a link in the chain. So essentially what we want to see is we want to see a point form list. This is the simplest way to do it. A point form list that just says project started here. You know, it was pitched by this person. I then became involved, or I created it myself. Then, you know, I brought in another producer. Here's their contract as they came on board. We received development funding from this particular agency, if that's something that's happened. We hired a writer at this point, so now we have a writer's contract. It's all the various links in the chain, but at the end, it all adds up to the producer who is applying to the program owns everything and can demonstrate that they have the contracts backed up to be able to do so, and that point form list that shows, you know, who owns what at the end of the day. Let's see what else here. Aaron mentioned the applying to the Creative Saskatchewan's travel grant program, so we talked about that. If you want to submit a sizzle reel or a trailer, we're totally open to taking a peek at that. Again, you know, keep things concise. Try to focus on the materials that we ask for in the application form. A few extra things are helpful, but make sure they are specific to the program. We don't necessarily need to see all kinds of things. We've got a lot to kind of go through. So the more you can stay project specific, the better. We will discuss costs related to attending the Yorkton Short Film Festival and follow up with you on that. Again, you might want to look at the Creative Saskatchewan, travel program that they have to take a peek at what's offered through that. We will definitely look at reaching out to Yorkton and see about registration costs, but I can't make any guarantees on that right now. We will ask on your behalf and see what we can do.
But
There, of
Brendan,
course,
I'll just say, if we can cover that, Creative SAS can cover that part. But the travel grant won't necessarily apply to everybody. It depends where you live in the province. In province travel is a little tricky. So we can look at that once we know who the participants are, but we will cover the registration for Yorkton.
okay, well, that's great. Thank you. I should have had the chat room open before I started answering all these questions. Let's see, letters of recommendation. Yeah, so the letters of recommendation should sort of highlight your past experience. The person that's writing it should be someone that you know, that's worked with you before, so they can talk about you in an informed manner. And it just sort of goes over why they think you're suited for this program, what you're going to stand to gain from it, etc., what your past experience is, etc. Sure. Talked about chain of title. Okay, any other questions, and you want to throw them into chat, or you want to turn your camera on right now and turn on your microphone? We're happy to hear from you. And then if you want, Aaron and I are both around. You've got our email addresses. You can reach out to me at industry@whistlerfilmfestival.com, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I know there's not too much time from now until Monday, the 17th, but there's plenty of time to get. We're not the application process isn't that onerous. There's quite a bit of time to be able to get what you need submitted. So, and if you do have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us. Hopefully this session has been really helpful and informative. And hopefully I haven't talked too fast and you were able to get as much of that in as possible. I believe that the whole session is going to be posted on the Whistler website. So if you need to, you can go back and take a peek at it. But again, I think probably easiest just to send me an email and I'll answer any specific questions that you have. And then, yeah, Shelley just mentioned, check out all the other great training programs that Whistler has to offer. It'd be great to get more applications from Saskatchewan into our talent labs. You'll find that many of them are super beneficial to moving forward your career and your projects. So if I don't see anything else really popping up in the chat. So again, I'd just like to thank Shelley and to thank Aaron and to thank Angela from before, and thank all of you for attending today. Really hope you got a lot out of it, and I really hope to see as many applications as possible. This is, again, I can't stress enough what a great opportunity this is for producers in Saskatchewan, and what a great benefit this is from Creative Saskatchewan to make this possible. I'm excited and really interested in working with you, and I hope to see as many applications as possible.
Any last words, Aaron?
Just thanks, Brendan, Shelley, and Angela. And again, don't be shy about applying. Get those applications in, and we want to see a really strong turnout for this program. So, yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm actually still here. I'm just can't figure out how to get my thing back, my video back on.
It's Angela.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've been listening to this, and it's like winning the lottery for Saskatchewan producers. I know how amazing the programs are. Just for context, in the last round of funding for telefilm production, 3 of the 21 that were awarded production funding had gone through our talent programs, and 3 out of 21 from across the country is a pretty big deal. So it's a wealth of information. The business connections that you can make are unparalleled, and if you are interested in pursuing a career in the industry, by all means apply.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to stop the recording.